Hello friends, we are back and this time we shall be considering the control aspects of complete chemical plant. What do you mean by complete chemical plant? We have already been discussing single units such as CSTR, continuously stirred tank reactor. We have also taken into account the dynamics or the control of tank heater or batch reactor and so on. But now it is the time that we do not take these single units as such, but rather the complete plant, which is a complex combination of these single units like reactors, separators, heat exchangers, pumps, compressors, and so on and so forth. And all these are interconnected. They are interconnected in a way which is rational, which is in a way to achieve some objective. And through these interconnections, there's a flow of material, there's a flow of energy. So, for such problems, we are designing the control systems of the complete plant. It can be quite complex and it requires good amount of experience and good amount of background of chemical engineering as well. So it's always a multidisciplinary team. No single person can handle this kind of project as such. We have chemical engineers, you have mechanical engineers taking care of the thermal aspects, and we have of course electrical, and finally the instrumentation and control engineers, which are going to take into account the control aspects of complete chemical plant, the combination of all. So without going into the much details of the integrated chemical processes, we right now are going to start with an example where we have a chemical plant composed of only two units. We are considering at the time only two units, and those two units are CSTR, that is continuously stirred tank reactor, and the distillation column. And the distillation column is a simple distillation column, and the CSTR is also a simpler one. But even when you mix these two, even when you interconnect these two, CSTR and distillation column, things become too complex. And just imagine that if we have large number of such complicated single units, then it will become such a complex thing that will require good amount of brainstorming, good amount of teamwork, good amount of simulation, good amount of these days you have computers and controls to take care of, and that becomes, the whole thing becomes too challenging and too interesting for us to handle. But we will take small baby steps. This is your first course in process control as such, so you will be able to understand that the moment you connect two single units, things become too complex. That's what you're going to see in the subsequent slides. So friends, what you see over here, as we have been discussing earlier, you have a stirred tank reactor, and in this stirred tank reactor you have two primary inputs. First, you have reactant A getting into this CSTR. You can control the flow rate of A going to the tank. Listen to my words very carefully. Try to absorb and make a picture in your mind. It's very important. I will be giving all these things in text later, but it's important to understand. First. Second, there is another input going in, because in CSTR, as told you earlier also, that there can be large number of inputs, but in this case we have taken only two inputs because the reaction is over here A plus B giving C. In the previous case, we have taken A converting to B and converting to C. There was only one input A, but in this case, we have gone in one step ahead and we have taken two inputs A and B. The B part is coming from here, and its flow rate FB can also be controlled. So far the things are not so complicated because you have FA coming in from here, which can be controlled. You have FB which is coming in from here, which can be controlled, and the concentration of FB is also known. It's almost fixed. Concentration of FA is also known. It is fixed. It's not a mixture of the two coming. Whatsoever is coming is pure. Whatsoever is coming is pure 100%. This is what we are assuming to keep the things simple. And this is coming at temperature Ta, and this is coming at temperature Tb. Somehow this Ta and Tb, they cannot be controlled. They are coming at the temperatures whatsoever they are. They can vary also. So there can be disturbance in Ta, there can be disturbance in Tb. But what we are getting over here is that this Fa can be controlled, this Fb can be controlled. These are the manipulated variables, so to say. But this Ta and Tb, they can be measured, but they cannot be manipulated for the time being. We come over here and they go into this CSTR, to the tank reactor, which is getting stirred from here. And this we take it as an endothermic reaction. So we have to supply some heat to it. And to supply some heat, we are giving in some steam from here. And this steam flow rate can also be controlled. By controlling this steam flow rate, you are going to control the temperature of this tank reactor, and the steam which is getting condensed on account of its transferring the heat to this continuously stirred tank reactor. The condensate is getting out from the jacketed CSTR. This is the jacket, the outer jacket of that, through which the steam is flowing. And once this A plus B is getting converted into C, then this tank is containing all three, A and B and C. A and B is getting converted into C, but this conversion is not 100% because we have a continuously influx of A is coming from here, influx of B is coming from here. It's getting converted into C. Let us say, for example, uh, 80% of A and B gets converted into C, and 20% of A plus B remains as A plus B, and this is getting out from this pump. And let us say even this pump can be controlled, so this flow rate is also controllable to some extent. You can control it, and then the combination of A and B and C, this C may be 80% and A maybe and B may be 10% each. For example, I'm just saying arbitrarily. This can change. This can be 15, this can be 25, and therefore the remaining C, as you can see, whatsoever will be, and that C plus B plus A in whatsoever ratio we have taken. Let us say 15 plus 25, that is 40%. The remaining 60% will be C. So this ratio of A plus B is going to distillation column, and this distillation column is a binary distillation column. Binary means it's going to separate it into two parts only. Something coming out from here, we call it as distillate, and something coming out from here, we call it as bottoms, into only two parts. It's just a binary one, it's a simple one. And further we are assuming that the C part is coming down from here and the distillate part is coming back from here. So even if I assume that the C is quite pure, it's 90% pure, 95% pure, as maybe the requirement of the C, the C is coming down. Let us say we want 95% pure C. So we want to maintain certain flow rate of this Fp also. This flow rate means that if we want that this C should be 95% and the flow rate is there, if this C becomes 98%, then let's increase this flow rate. Let's increase this flow rate, and that flow rate can be increased by giving in more amount of reflux over here. More is the amount of reflux. Reflux means this part, this upper part is containing A plus B. Then this A plus B is going back to this distillate, and this is going down into this portion and coming back from here to increase the Fp. It's going back. Otherwise, if this becoming 93% or 92%, so we will rather reduce the amount of Fp to increase the amount of purity, and we will reduce the reflux. And in that case, instead of this going back to the distillation column, it's going here again, and this A plus B, instead of going back to the distillation column, is going to continuously stirred tank reactor. So the things become complicated because there's a great amount of coupling. How do we say there's a great amount of coupling? This reflux going back to distillation column is going to contribute to this C part, over here, and it's going to change the level of this distillation column also. And this is the cooling water. This is the cooling water which is going to condense, because it's coming in the form of vapor, and it's passing through the cooling water. It is getting condensed over here. If we think it can go back to the distillation column, it goes back to the distillation column. If you think no, we don't need to give it back to the distillation column, rather A plus B need to be reacted once more, once again, and then in that case it goes back to the continuously stirred tank reactor, and here again the reaction will take place. So effectively, the input to this CSTR is A, pure A coming from here, pure B coming from here, and a mixture of A and B. And this mixture of A and B may contain some C also. It may contain a little bit of C also, because whatsoever is coming out from here may contain C. And this A plus B, if it is not, it's determined by the process engineers that this should not go back in entirety to CSTR, but part of it should go back to this distillation column, and that part of C needs to be extracted from this combination also, and contribute to the FP part, or it may affect the concentration of C also. So those are the things which for the time being we are not going to consider, because this is the domain of chemical engineers. What should be the amount of reflux going back to this? It depends upon what is the purity of A and B, and if there is a C which is there, which is more over here, so we will put it back over here and try to extract C coming back to here, and so on and so forth. If it is A and B only, then it goes back to the stirred tank reactor to be reacted over here, because we have to see that a little bit compromise on C can be made, but this FP, little bit of compromise on FP can be made. So if we compromise on FP, we increase the feed, then the purity goes down, and if we increase the purity, then the feed goes down. So we have to take something, and part of this bottom also, it goes back to the distillation column, and here you need the bottoms which are in the form of liquid. They need to be vaporized, they need to be heated by going in for the steam over here. So the thing is that controlling this flow rate is going to change the level of this CSTR. We don't want this CSTR to overflow. We don't want this CSTR to run dry. So this flow rate is going to determine the level, and this level is going to determine the flow rate of FA and FB. So the moment you change this flow rate, the level will change, and then you will have to change this FA and this FB. And why do I need to change this flow rate? Because I have to make sure that this distillation column should neither overflow nor should it run dry. So it needs to be, this can be achieved by controlling this flow rate. And again, in this distillation column, again the flow rate of this is not only determined by the level over here, but also by the amount of reflux which is going back. If this reflux increases, then this flow rate has to decrease, and this reflux should increase or decrease depending upon whatsoever is the concentration of C in A plus B, and whatsoever is the concentration of this C coming out from here. And then part of it goes back, and if this flow rate FD, if this FD increases, and then this FD is increasing over here, this is also going to determine the level. And to maintain the level, again FA and FB also need to change. So FA and FB depend not only on the outflow over here, but also on this entire distillate coming back from the distillation column. So you see there's a great amount of coupling. Anything affects anything. You can see over here, if you change this FA, right, and you don't change this FB, then this reaction will not take place properly, because FA and FB, they need to be there in some ratio. This A and B has to be some ratio. It need not be exactly 1:1, but it whatsoever is the ratio, that ratio has to be maintained depending upon the chemical reaction which is taking place over here. So if I change this FA, I have to change this FE, and if I change this FA and I change this FB, then the level will change. And if the level changes over here, I have to take care that the outflow should also increase to maintain the level. And if this outflow is increased to maintain the level, then this level inside the distillation column is also affected. Then depending upon this level I have to maintain, then I have to take care that this FD and FP should also increase. And if it is not happening, in that case I have to reduce this flow, right? And in this I have to reduce this flow, the level will increase. In that case I have to reduce this FA, and because I'm changing FA and I want to maintain the ratio of FA is to FB, then this FB also needs to be reduced. So there's a coupling. The coupling is in two ways. This flow rate is affecting this distillation column, and this flow rate is affecting this CSTR, right? And along with it we have to control the steam. This steam is to be regulated to maintain the temperature of this cooling water has to be regulated to condense this thing over here. And this steam is also, it needs regulation so as to take care of the bottoms going back into the system, into the distillation column. So you see, so many controls are there. It looks like the moment we have just two simple single units, they are connected in such a manner that this unit is affecting this unit and this unit is affecting this unit. So great amount of constraints are there, great amount of objectives they need to be achieved. So we have to control FA, and we have to control FB, and you have to control the steam over here, and you have to control the amount of feed going out. You can control by controlling the speed of the pump over here, or you can put a pump and put a valve over here. And you need to control this FP and some amount is going back, and you need to control this FD and something is going back over here. And so there's a great amount of cost that is also involved, because one of the objective is to go in for the economics. So here the cost is cost of the steam, the cost is cost of this steam, the cost is cost of this cooling water, the cost is cost of running the whole plant for the time the whole plant runs. So if there is more amount of this thing going back into it, there's more amount of this going back into it. So going in for this processing again and again, spending more time in distillation column also means more amount of cost over here. And you are keeping this also stirring over here, so more amount of stirring, more amount of time spent in this CSTR also adds to the cost. So as such, my dear friends, you can see now we have seen that this system becomes too complicated. Even if I'm assuming so many things, I'm assuming that this CSTR is a simple CSTR, and I'm assuming that this is a binary column, and I'm assuming that there are only two units connected to it. It's only CSTR connected to one distillation column, and इसके आगे क्या हो रहा है further, what is going to this FP, I'm not considering. From where this FA and FB are coming from, I'm not considering. So all these are, I'm considering that these are in isolation. I've just coupled one CSTR with one distillation column, and things become quite complicated. So they need in its entirety, once we have a complete picture, you see, the control aspects become complicated. We have to, as a control engineer, take into account the coupling factors, the interactions, the tight interactions between these two simple units. And imagine you have hundreds of these units, all are connected to each other in some way, in some recurrent manner. Also recurrent means this thing is going back to this, it's recurring. So things will become definitely much more complicated. But just to give you an idea, we have taken two units, and whatsoever I have spoken will be presented to you in the form of text in the subsequent slides, so that you can, even if you don't get it and properly by whatsoever you have heard so far, you can pause the slides and you can read the text. Whatsoever I said will be repeated in the subsequent slides. So my dear friends, as you can read it now, you have the chemical reaction taking place in CSTR where A plus B is going to give me C, and the reaction is endothermic, heat is applied through steam, and whatsoever is a mixture of C which is getting along with A and B, it's getting out, and that's going to the distillation column, and the distillation column is going to separate out A plus B. It goes up from the distillate, and the bottoms they contain C as the bottom product. So the objectives of this kind of operation, they are: number one, we have basically three objectives. Number one, the product specifications, that is, keep the flow rate of desired product stream FP at a specific level. We want to have good amount of yield. Keep the required purity of C in the product stream, as such product stream. And then you have operational constraints, like you don't want to overflow CSTR, you don't want to overflow distillation column, or both should not run dry at any moment of time. The third objective is the economic constraints, and I've already told you, I'm repeating once again, that you want to maximize the profits. So you want to minimize the cost involved in terms of raw material, in terms of steam used, in the reboilers and so on. Even in CSTR using steam, and the cost of cooling water used in condenser, they also need to be controlled. About disturbances, compositions can be disturbance, temperature can be disturbance, flow rates which are not controlled can be disturbance, the pressure in the distillation column can be disturbance, the temperature of the coolant used in the condenser can be disturbance, even pressure of the steam can be disturbance, which is not mentioned over here, and so on and so forth. The coolant water, the temperature is different in the daytime, the temperature is different in the night time, that can be disturbance, and so many other disturbances can happen. So we have to control those disturbances as well. So as you have seen, the moment you look at the figure, it's very complicated, and indeed it is very complicated. And the basic theme is that you have interaction. It's a two-way interaction, the interaction between reactor and the column. The reactor is affecting the column, and the column is in turn affecting the reactor. It's a very tight interaction as such, and it can result into very complicated design of the control system. But anyway, we are prepared for this kind of complicated design. It all becomes a very complex MIMO, multiple input multiple output kind of stuff over here. But anyway, we will be studying these in small steps, one by one, because if we go in for a very big thing at the same time without breaking into smaller parts, things may be quite intimidating. We don't want that to happen. So that's why, although I am giving you a bigger picture right now, but don't get scared by this bigger picture. We will solve it step by step, one by one. And that's the method of natural learning, or a good learning teaching learning process. Once again, we want to control the composition of bottoms by manipulating the steam in the reboiler. This control action will affect the composition of overhead product A plus B, what is coming out overhead product A plus B, which in turn is going to affect the reaction conversion in CSTR, because this A plus B from the distillate, if you remember, is going back to CSTR. So that's how it's getting affected. So to keep the conversion of CSTR, I have already told you that the ratio of FA is to FB, the feed at A and the feed at the B, that remains, that needs to be fixed. So any change in FA is to FB ratio, or any change in the temperature, even the temperature of the CSTR, should be constant. If it changes, then the composition of the uh, product coming out from the reactor, and that is going to become the composition of the feed going to the distillation column, that will change. And this change in feed composition to the column will affect the purity of both the things which are coming out from the distillation column, and the things which are coming out from the bottoms in the terms of C. So the control of this integrated process is the basic objective of chemical engineer, and we will be part of that chemical engineering team. It's always a teamwork, and due to its complexity, We will start analyzing the control problems in single unit at a time. For the time being, we'll be considering only single unit. For the time being, we'll be considering only CSTR. For the time being, we'll be considering only distillation column, or even something simpler so as to build up some concepts over here. But ultimately, we have to go in for the integrated process. That's a final objective. But going in, given you the complete picture, why we need to go in for the single units, even if they look simple, but ultimately they have to be integrated to form the complete picture, and that's what our objective is finally, to completely control the entire chemical plant. And that's the role of instrumentation and control engineer. Friends, that was one heavy session as such, but anyway, I suppose you have got the grasp of the thing and you getting the kick of the thing as well. In case you have any queries related to this complete control of the chemical plant, as such, you can always contact me. Any sharing of the thoughts can be done. Any ideas that may be coming to your mind, or anything you want to be clarified, or you have any observations, you can contact me through Zoom sessions or WhatsApps or phones or physical face to face interaction, as the case may be. And I thank you once again for being with me. And I suppose I am assuming that you have enjoyed the learning. I wish you a very safe stay. Bye bye.